The following is a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.
No ifs, ands, or buts. This is our divorce attorney show. I guess we call that. He is Matt Butts, and he is fantastic at what he does, and that's why we do this show. mbutslaw.net, mbutslaw.net. That's B-U-T-T-S, just like it sounds. You can also call him at 948-4958, 948-4958. Do you still take phone calls? Do people still call lawyers?
I mean, they do. I don't give up my cell phone number. They call the office and schedule a call with me. There's just, it's so much going on at one time. I just can't take calls all the time.
You ever give out your cell phone number?
I do some, not often. It's got to be when I'm working with children, I'll generally give them my cell phone number if I'm working as a guardian ad litem. And maybe some close friends, but not really.
All right. You wanted to give a shout out to somebody this morning?
I do. So I was in family court this morning and I saw Clint Hopkins. He's a security guard there. And I have known Clint forever. And when I started working as a judicial assistant in divorce court, he was over there. So we just got to be friends, and he's a really cool guy. Said he listens to the show, really loves it. So I appreciate it, Clint.
Right. And you also, this is your show. I come with some ideas, but whatever you want to talk about, because you're the man, and you want to bring some guests on, and you've got several guests that are going to be coming onto the show over the next couple of weeks, so we're looking forward to that as well. So whatever you want to do, man, it's going to be great. And it's amazing because I've been doing this now for 5 years, and I've had a divorce attorneys on. I've had you on, Tony Kurre Radio.
Yeah, I've been on a couple times.
Through Spy for Rent, but we've never done a divorce attorney show, and it's taken off. It's unbelievable. The numbers are wonderful. Yeah, because I think, it affects at least half of us. And the half it doesn't affect, you should probably listen to the show. So you're not part of that 50%, right? That's where I think, doing we could just do a divorce show. And I think it'd just be gangbusters. Something I read recently, I guess it's from about a year ago, something called gray divorces, which is something I went through. Back in 1990, 8.7% of all divorces were of people past the age of 50. That number has grown to 36% in 2019 and now 39% in 2024. That is a huge jump, 8.7% to 39%. And again, it's been 36 years. 1990 seems like it's not that long ago. It's been 36 years. Why do you think that is?
Well, I mean, look, you have people who stay together for a very, very, very long time. And you've got boomers who still hold on to a lot of a really good tradition and things like that. And you stay together, if not for the kids, then for the church. A whole list of reasons to stay together.
Yeah, but why now? I mean, in 1990, less than 10% of those divorces, people were staying together. They were getting divorced. I'm assuming they were getting divorced a lot earlier. So I guess you could look at this as a good thing, right? If people are getting divorced in their 50s, that means they're getting married much later, which people are, or we're staying together a lot longer and we're finally just getting tired of people.
I've seen some divorces where people were married 20, 30, 40 years and then got divorced. They just said, I can't do it anymore. Or one decided, hey, I want to be a teenager again. Or there's a million things that could happen here, but yeah, they are getting more prevalent. And lots of times these people have stayed together for all those reasons mentioned before. And then those reasons no longer became good enough.
And I would think as a divorce attorney, gray divorces, are they harder or easier than younger divorces?
They're just sad, man. It's just sad.
Well, I mean, you got more love there, but you got more understanding there. Perhaps you've had more time
more
to
property there.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say. You've got more assets there because you've been together for 25 years. I'm one of those. I didn't get divorced till I was in my 50s, and so I certainly understand where that goes. And I would assume, I guess, it used to be the 7-year itch. Now I guess it's the 16 to 17 to 18-year itch. It seems like when most people, and that maybe because they want to wait till the kids are old enough that they can understand. Maybe
Sometimes.
they're flying the coop, and so there's just him and her, and maybe they're like, "Hey, listen, we've done a great job of raising these kids. I hate you, now get out of here." Could be a little bit of that. Um,
Yeah.
and we also talked about this on the show last week. And by the way, info@TonyCurryRadio.net, info@TonyCurryRadio.net. If you have any email questions, we talked about uh, for our typical male, he will tell you, you get married. He runs the show. He's the breadwinner. She stays home, does a fantastic job taking care of the kids. And all of a sudden, the kids get old enough to be sufficient. They move out. And all of a sudden, she decides she wants to start a new life. And you're like, what? And she's like,
It
yeah, I want to go
happens.
to work. I want to start a business. And you're like, whoa, 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 who's going to cook my meals? Who's doing my laundry? Hold on, wait,
Well, that
hey,
would be the
hey,
worst thing
hey,
to say.
what? I mean, what are we doing here? I mean, no,
It
don't you?
is a disruption of the routine, but
Well,
you got to be
yeah,
flexible, on your
yeah,
toes all the time.
you certainly do.
Um, because people do change. Some people don't. Some people do. I think that people who say people never change are actually the people who never change,
Yeah.
because people do grow and change, and sometimes that's good, and sometimes it's not so good. But think about it on the other end too. Of hey, I've done this, and you've been able to have a good career, and now I want to be able to do something that's just mine. That's outside the home, and I think there's some merit to that, but it's about
I
being
would
flexible
suggest
with each
that
other.
having gone through this process, and again,
Yeah.
I'm a professional at this because I've done it. I would suggest to you men out there to actually bring it up as a suggestion to your wife. Hey,
Yeah.
listen, you've been busting your hind, man. You did a fantastic job. We know it's the hardest job, blah blah blah. Maybe you should go work at a flower shop, or is there anything that you would like to do? Something you've been waiting on for a long
Yeah.
time. You got your degree 25 years ago. You never really got a chance to use it. Is there anything? Be supportive. I mean, be supportive here.
That's
We
right.
we, we we talked about preemptive strikes, and things to do so you don't have to go down this road. I mean, Matt's got a business here, but he doesn't want to have see people getting divorced just for sake of his business. It's a
That's
necessary
right.
evil. It's going to be there, but yeah, I mean, be proactive a little bit. Now she may take that like, "What the hell are you doing, trying to get me out of here or something?" I'm like, no, just it's. But we see that all the time when guys,
Hey, I think
maybe
we have a
that may,
connection issue.
okay, you're still hooking up on my end. You're good.
Okay, now I can
Yeah,
hear you.
you're good. Okay. Yeah. It's one of those things where you see guys all the time who go through early retirement or in their 60s, and all of a sudden the wife's like, "Get the hell out of here. Go play golf or do something with your friends or something because you're not hanging around the house all day. I'm used to having the place to myself, and I don't like you around all the time." So I get that. So if now when I asked you about is it better or worse if people are getting divorced later or with more equity in their marriage, and you winced a little bit, and the first thing you said is they have more assets. I would like to think that somebody getting divorced in their 50s again is knowledgeable enough, disciplined enough, obedient enough, maybe smart enough because we're in our 50s, we've been through a lot together, and maybe we do have a lot of good memories and we have an understanding of ourselves as opposed to someone who's married for 3 years and they have three kids and next thing you know they're 24 and they're like they meet somebody or whatever they want to get out and they're not grown up, they're not mature enough yet. So talk about the difference between say a mature divorce as opposed to an immature divorce.
Well, I mean, I would say that for a gray divorce, open affairs sting a lot worse because there's just a whole lot of trust and loyalty that was betrayed
Mhm.
in the eyes of one party. And all they can see is 20, 30 years together, and now you've chosen this other person. And look, I'm not throwing any judgment there. I'm just saying the emotions are what the emotions are. And sometimes people handle it better than others. I mean, it just really depends on the person. But some people just kind of take it with grace and realize, hey, I can't do anything about this. There's
Yeah.
nothing I can do about his behavior. I can't change him. I've tried for decades, or her. And then some of them just want to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
And so you never really know what's coming through the door. People handle things in different ways. I've seen the exact same situation with different people, and it's just everywhere. So my job is to kind of bring it all back to here so that, so that we don't get too deep in the weeds.
There you
But yeah,
go.
it can go either way.
Okay. Bethany in Tuscaloosa emailed us info at TonyCurryRadio.net. This is the No Ifs, Ands, or Buts show. It's a divorce attorney show with Matt Butts, so mbutslaw.net, 948-4958. I'm assuming that's a 205 exchange.
Yes.
What she wants to know about getting back out there. She said, how do judges and or lawyers look at folks that are going through a divorce who are already dating somebody? Um, assuming that you're not divorcing for another person, which I'm not saying that certainly is relevant. I mean, I'm sure that happens, probably more so than I'd like to think it does. Um, but as a divorce attorney, what are you telling that woman who's having an affair, or maybe she's already slept around with somebody and she's wanting to leave her marriage, her husband, or vice versa, because of another person? And how do you deal with that? How do you tell them, hey, listen, I don't think the judge is going to like this a whole lot because there is obviously some responsibility there?
Well, it doesn't always affect a property division like you might think. It just depends. It does vary from judge to judge, just depending on the judge's discretion. Uh, However, there's a lot less sympathy for someone who's committing adultery in court. I mean, it just there's sometimes there is, sometimes it was just very abusive, and I'm not saying that's justification for an affair, but sometimes somebody really, really pushes somebody else out. Other times it's just like, yeah, hold your tears. You chose someone else for no good reason.
Mhm.
So, it is as far as getting back out there dating during the pendency of your divorce, I'd never recommend that. What
I would think,
Because
particularly if you're talking child custody, I mean, the kid should
yeah,
be the number one thing. And if all of a
it,
sudden you're out dating somebody 3 months after you've filed for divorce, it's probably not a good look.
it happens. It happens.
Sure.
And I'm not saying that's always frowned upon, but I'm just saying that you need to be careful for a few reasons. Number one, you are exiting a marriage where you have adapted your life to someone else and then immediately you want to adapt to somebody else. No, no, no. Figure out some things about yourself, right?
Good point.
Figure out who you are and what you actually want. And then, I mean, take some time even after the divorce. Take you a year after the divorce. Do some things you really, really, really wanted to do, because let me tell you, if you think you're not going to adapt again in the new marriage, you're wrong. You're
Yep.
going to. So maybe figure out what you want before you do that.
Do you ask the question, have you ever cheated in your marriage, to every person you take care of? Like every
Not
person you're
all of
crush?
them.
Is
Not
there
not all of them.
is there a reason why you wouldn't ask that question? I
Yeah,
was surprised. I was surprised to hear it. Thank goodness I did not have that issue. So I was like, absolutely not. Not so much on the other side. Pleaded. What do they call it? Plead the fifth. And
right.
so we knew kind of right off the bat there. But I, it's interesting when one person's just nagging and giving another one a hard time about, hey, listen, he wasn't there for this, he wasn't there for that, and then you find out that she had an extramarital affair or he had an extramarital affair. It does not make them look good. So, is there a question? Is there a reason why you wouldn't ask that question?
Yeah, so if things are getting heated up and litigated, then yeah, I'm going to ask that question.
There
Obviously,
you
I'm
go.
going to ask it. If things are calm and everybody's come in and with a semi plan that I need to clean up and that I need to make sure that a judge is going to accept it, I'm not digging in your business.
Okay.
It's truly your business. Your business is on the table here in as much as the case becomes litigated.
See, and
So,
I love that. Listen, I know some divorce attorneys. I've had a wonderful relationship with you already. We get along great. We go out and have lunch and dinner. You seem to play it so well, like you play it close to the vest unless you have to go out there. And I know some
that's
lawyers
right.
aren't like that. Some lawyers are all balls to the walls. We're going to go after this person, blah 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 blah. And maybe that's
Yeah.
because the husband or the wife wants them to. But for the
Hmm.
most part, I've always just wanted to be amicable. I listen. We spent half our
Here,
lives together. There's still some love there for me. I still think about her. And I'm like, can we just get through this so we can be friends? Because ultimately, I want our children to know that we're still friends.
Here's the thing. It doesn't always have to be a fight, even when bad things happen. Think about it this way. I rarely, I don't know if I've ever pled adultery in a complaint for divorce, because I still believe that the fact that adultery happened and we can prove it is leverage in a settlement to get a better settlement,
Yeah.
right? But if I just throw it out there, I've shot my shot and I've already said it. I would rather play it close to the vest and see if that helps in settlement negotiations. And if not, all right, let's go. That's just, for me, it's a better strategy.
Yeah, Matt Butts, divorce attorney. He's the best, man. No ifs, ands, or buts. The podcast show. It's only been on the air for about a month and a half, and it's one of our top 3 shows out of 18 podcasts I have on my radio
Oh,
station. So
wow.
I'm really, really pleased with
That's
that.
cool.
948-4958. Well, it's interesting.
I
It's
don't
free.
see the numbers. I just hop on the air
And
and
I'm
talk.
more than happy to show you those numbers,
No, I'm
particularly
with
when
you.
it's good.
I'm fine.
Mbutslaw.net, mbutslaw.net. The one thing about podcasts is people don't realize is they start these podcasts, they do 3 or 4 of them, they see they have maybe 4 or 5 listeners, and they're like, why are we doing this? Because they sat around, got drunk one night, and said, "Man, this would be killer. This would be funny as shit. If the 3 of us sat around and talked about this, oh man, it would take off and
Right.
go viral." And they realize that you need to put some time and effort behind it. I've got some shows that didn't take off till after they were on the air for almost a year, and all of a
Wow.
sudden, boom, they
Yeah.
go. They just you got to find the right thing, and again, you need to find a following. There's a lot of competition out there, but I like to consider my stuff the best, and that's why I've
I
got
do
you on.
too.
I wouldn't just
That's
put
right.
any lawyer on. So, something else I heard of, and it sounds like a brilliant idea. And then the more I thought about it, the more I thought, man, that sounds like a horrible idea. Bird nesting. Tell people what bird nesting is and why some people would go that route.
So I've heard it called nesting. I haven't heard it called bird
Or
nesting.
bird. I may have added the bird part. Yeah.
So nesting generally takes place in, not always in a joint custody situation, but lots of times in a joint custody situation where uh, people are having 7 on 7 off with the kids, except that they vacate each party vacates the house so that the other party can exercise custodial time, so that the children never leave the central home, but the parents switch in and out.
So there are 3 places, as opposed to her having a place and you having a place. You have a place, she has a place, and then you have the common home, which you're moving in and out of every other week. So
Hmm.
at one point, I'm
Yep.
like, good. That should make parents like hate the idea of getting divorced, because now we're making the parents move, pack a bag every 7 days, which I hate making my children do.
Well,
But does it work?
I mean,
Have you ever
I
have you ever
guess
done
if
one?
people, yeah, I've seen it. I
I would think
generally
logistically it would be a
advise
nightmare.
against it. I
Yeah.
generally advise against that. But sometimes people just really, really, really want to do it. And you know what? If people are getting along that well and there's legit no hate here, which is very rare, um, okay. Yeah, try it because it's less disruptive for the children. I mean, I get all the pros of it, but if you're in like a litigated case and you are sharing a home with someone who is your party opponent in court, the first thing my lawyer mind thinks is who's planning the evidence and where.
Yeah.
Like just all sorts of traps that could take place. So it really depends on the temperament of the parties and the atmosphere of the case. I mean, if it's going like super well, like unusually well, maybe so, yeah. But if not, then you really, really, really need to think about not doing that.
Yeah, for you folks who went through the COVID divorce, you know what I'm talking about, man. I was right in the middle of it. It was just funky time. First of all, I didn't have the money to go get my own
Yeah.
place. We were in a situation, and then I just lost my job of 40 something years. And so I'm like, hey, listen, if you want to go find a place, knock yourself out. I can't help you. I'm not going to
Yeah.
help you. Of course, she was out there looking for places for me, and I'm like, I'm not moving because my business was at the house, and I'm like, I'm not coming back and
Yeah.
forth in the business. And she's like, well, certainly not staying together through this, are we? And I said, we're not staying together, but you're going to be at one end and I'm going to be the other, because I mean,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to get through this. I mean, unless someone's hitting the lottery here, I think that's going to be something. So, not a good idea to do the nesting thing. I have has there
Most of the
been
time,
have,
not.
have psychologists come out? Is it truly beneficial for the children to have one place? And what does it do when you give the children that kind of power? I would think that they're already feeling responsibility in what's happening, and all of a sudden you're adapting your entire life around them, which is a good thing. I mean, it's about the kids, right? But it's also,
That's right.
I would think that the kids would probably, depending on their age, would probably feel like there's an extra amount of oomph there that they have to kind of pull off. Oh my gosh, now we're staying in the same house and mom and dad have to go back and forth. Or am I wrong
There,
there?
there's that. There's that. But when you brought up the power, that is something that I have seen in that this is one of the very good reasons why you should shield your children from the divorce case, in that once they start learning how the legal process works, they're brilliant. These kids are brilliant,
Yeah, they are.
and they're going from one home to the next. Sometimes they just say, "No, you can't stop me. I'm gonna," and like a lot of the respect goes with away when they kind of start realizing I got more power here. Now, sometimes a child does need more power than a child's got.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need to hear the child's voice. It's super important, and you should always hear what your children have to say. But at the end of the day, you are the parent and they are the child, and you make decisions. And until they're 19 years old, they're going to need to obey you. So, you just that's another aspect of it, and just be very, very careful, because when you start letting your kids in on these cases, it can backfire big.
Yeah. Info at TonyCurryRadio.net, info at TonyCurryRadio.net. You got emails, mbutslaw.net, mbutts, B-U-T-T-S law.net, 948-4958. Jerry in Birmingham wants to know what constitutes a legal marriage if you actually don't get married. The common law marriage, I guess they call it. If you're living with someone for 6 or 7 years, does that count as a marriage? Tell me about how that goes.
That's been gone since pre-COVID. There's
Really?
no longer common law marriage in the state of Alabama, and I want to say it's 2017.
Okay.
Is was the last year. So now, I mean, if you got together after COVID and you've been living together since then, you are going to remain partners and unmarried until such time as you go to the courthouse and file the affidavit. Until then, divorce court has no jurisdiction over your case, and you would need to go to civil court to sort out any type of property, and custody court to sort out any type of custody.
Okay. We had a question based off a conversation we had last week. We were talking about premarital assets. If I come into the show with $150,000 in my 401k, you have $100,000, and chances are we end up getting a divorce. Do I get to keep the money that I brought into the marriage? You said in most cases you probably would. It depends on obviously what happened actually during the marriage and why they're asking for a divorce anyway. Another Jerry here in Birmingham wanted to know about prenups. How often do you handle prenups? Are they common? And is there a shoreline where you go, hey, listen, at this point, I would say file a prenup, or at this point, don't worry about it, or is it just purely on the couple when they get married? How does that work?
Like, how many do I do? Not enough.
Really?
Because think about this. Think about this. And I understand that it is an absolute buzzkill to right before you go get married, plan your divorce.
Mhm.
I get it, but
Yeah.
at the end of the day, though, when people love each other and have high-end assets, or the potential for high-end assets, it's not a bad idea to do a prenup. Um, because it's a lot better to do a property division when you love each other than when you hate each other. And there's some things that even without a prenup could be considered separate property, like such as any type of asset or monies that have not been used for the benefit of the family with no joint access, things like that. That could still be considered separate. You could plan it that way. Without a prenup, it's just a lot better with one, because as long as that prenup is held to be valid,
Makes it easy. Yeah.
you're not going to break it.
What
Yeah.
about land? I never hear anybody talk about land. If I come in, if I own 54 acres out in Childersburg, and I end up getting
Mhm.
married, and we get
You would
divorced,
want a prenup.
you'd want a prenup on
You'd want a
land.
prenup.
Okay, I can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, because I mean, think about it. You've got this family land that's been in your family for decades and decades and
Hmm.
decades, and then you get married, and then you get divorced a couple years later. And even though she may not have any valid interest in that land, she is going to drain you dry
Yeah.
until like you settle well. So I mean, do a prenup and just keep that separate, and just say, look, I've done one like that before. It's just, look, all I want to keep separate is this land. period. Everything else can be marital property. Yeah, you can do that.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. 948-4958, umbustlaw.net. We have a couple more questions here. This is Tom. This is a great question. I think in most cases, at least I would like to think that the husband spends a lot more on the engagement ring than the wife does. Because the ring's not as important to the guy. It's usually just a band. Mine actually had some nice diamonds in it, but normally the guy wants to get his soon-to-be wife a nice rock because she wants to open up the box and it needs to look really good, right? But what if you're giving an heirloom? What if you're giving your grandma's ring that's been in the family for years and years and years, and you get a divorce? It's given to her as her gift. She doesn't have to give it back, I'm assuming. In a perfect world, she goes, listen, I realize this is your grandma's heirloom and you should have it back, but it doesn't always happen that way, does it?
It doesn't. And the rule on that is if the ring is given and you actually get married, then that's the consummation of that gift. Like that's hers from the point you're married on. If you don't get married, then you can get the ring back.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, so you got to be careful with the heirlooms, and you don't want to go into a marriage planning a divorce, but at the same time, you can get it back, but you're going to give up some. I mean, you can settle to get it back, and hopefully they would settle on an heirloom like that. But if they don't, then you're going to have to trade for it.
You got any good juicy cases going on right now you can tell us about?
Oh, I can't talk about them, but yes, yes, I do. So
tell people how they get in touch with you, my man.
All
I hope people
right.
don't have to call you, but for sake of
Me
the show
too.
and for your business, I hope, because listen, and if you're going to go use somebody, I know Matt is a super good guy. Trust me, he's the guy you want to go with. If you don't want the shenanigans and all the drama and all that other crap, Matt's your guy. Tell people how to get in touch with you.
I appreciate that, Tony.
Sure.
You could call my office at 205-948-4958, or my website is inbutslaw.net. Yeah, there is a Facebook page under my office, T. Matthew Butts PC. And yeah, give us a call.
Sounds good. Special guest next week?
Special guest next week. We are working on it, and I think we can get Chad Olmsted on here.
Okay, great.
And he can talk about a lot of.
Tell people who Chad is. Because he's a mutual friend of both of ours.
Chad, I've known him for decades. I remember when he was a drummer in a band, and he's gone through some issues you have, and he can come in and really, really give a good perspective on addiction and how to make it to the other side.
Super good guy. He's been a very good dear friend of mine for a long period of time. I thank you, my friend. Have yourself a wonderful. I hope you had a nice Easter, by the way. I didn't get a chance to
yeah,
wish
it's
you
great.
happy Easter. I hope you had a fantastic
Same.
funny day, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
You do the same. Thanks, Tony.
All right, man.
This has been a special presentation of Tony Kurre Radio.